How was your day? We had a really busy day here at the show, really busy. I was off yesterday. Chris Hayes did a really good job hosting the show yesterday. You might have thought. I thought so. But you know, you come back to the office after a day off and everything is so busy. I have such a stacked up calendar. I mean, look at this day. 10 o'clock, meet with Harry Reid. 11 o'clock, meet with Mitch McConnell. Noon, meet with Patrick Leahy. 12:45, meet with Jeff Sessions. 2:30, meet with Dick Durbin. 3:15, meet with Orrin Hatch. 4 o'clock, meet with Herb Kohl. 5 o'clock, meet with Dianne Feinstein. Then pass out. Whew, right? That wasn't my day, actually. That was the day of Supreme Court nominee Elena Kagan, who presumably had something else to do today before her life became the crazy thing that it necessarily becomes when you are a nominee to the Supreme Court of the United States. One of the most interesting things about her nomination thus far is what's happening on the left. The argument among progressives about whether or not Elena Kagan is liberal enough, whether or not her replacing Justice John Paul Stevens, who's become the liberal anchor of the court, would actually move the court to the right. That's where the most substantive debate over Elena Kagan's Supreme Court nomination is taking place. We'll be digging into that subject later on in the show tonight. But first, though, we do need to cover briefly what has become the least substantive but most entertaining criticism of the Elena Kagan nomination, and that is happening on the right. Now, nobody really thinks the right is going to be able to stop this nomination, but the wildly thrown and missed punches coming from the right have been very fun to watch. For example, Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas says he's super concerned about the fact that Elena Kagan has never been a judge before. Because that, of course, means she's totally unqualified for the Supreme Court. She won't even know how to put on the robe. Senator Cornyn's put out a statement that says, quote, Ms. Kagan is a surprising choice because she lacks judicial experience. Most Americans believe that prior judicial experience is a necessary credential for a Supreme Court justice. It should be noted that John Cornyn's feelings on this subject may vary depending on which nominee we're talking about.
Do you think that the Myers nomination shows that it would be almost impossible for someone to serve on the Supreme Court now if they haven't been a judge before?
Well, I certainly hope that's not the case, and it shouldn't be the case. I mean, one reason I felt so strongly about Harriet Myers' qualifications is I thought she would fill some very important gaps in the Supreme Court, because right now you have people who've been federal judges, circuit judges, most of their lives, or academicians, and what you see is a lack of grounding in reality and common sense that I think would be very beneficial.
But Elena Kagan is a surprising choice because she lacks judicial experience. It's the same John Cornyn now raising concerns about Elena Kagan's lack of judicial experience back in 2005 was mourning the loss of would-be Supreme Court Justice Harriet Myers, hoping out loud that her withdrawal wouldn't make it impossible for non-judges to become Supreme Court justices in the future. Unless, of course, we're talking about a non-judge nominated by a Democrat, know what I mean? Republican Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina is also worried about Elena Kagan having not been a judge, saying in a statement, quote, I'm concerned that she has no judicial experience to give Americans confidence that she will be impartial in her decisions. Of course, it should be noted that Jim DeMint's feelings on this subject may also vary depending on which nominee we're talking about. When Harriet Myers, for example, was nominated, Mr. DeMint said, quote, Ms. Myers has a long and distinguished career as one of the foremost lawyers in the country. She would bring a wealth of personal experience to the Supreme Court, even though she's never been a judge. But I thought only judges knew how to be impartial. Republican Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama has maybe topped everybody, though. He has also become suddenly overcome with fear of non-judges on the Supreme Court, saying this week, quote, Ms. Kagan's lack of judicial experience and short time as Solicitor General, arguing just 6 cases before the court, is troubling. Want to know what Jeff Sessions did not find troubling? Harriet Myers' lack of judicial experience and the 0 cases that she'd argued before the Supreme Court. Here's what Jeff Sessions said about her nomination in 2005. Quote, my conversations with Harriet Myers indicate that she's a first-rate lawyer and a fine person. Her legal skills are proven and her reputation throughout the legal community is excellent. It is not necessary that she have previous experience as a judge in order to serve on the Supreme Court. It's perfectly acceptable to nominate outstanding lawyers to that position. Perfectly acceptable to nominate outstanding lawyers, unless they're nominated by a Democrat. Nudge, nudge. But Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has another objection to Elena Kagan's nomination. It's not just her non-judginess that bothers Mr. McConnell. He has found new grounds on which to object to her nomination. Here's Senator McConnell speaking today from the Senate floor.
Well, it's my hope that the Obama administration doesn't think the ideal Supreme Court nominee is someone who would rubber stamp its policies. But this nomination does raise the question. As Solicitor General, Ms. Kagan is a member of the President's administration. The President on Monday also said that we're friends.
Friends? The President can't be friends with his own Supreme Court nominee.
In our constitutional order, justices are not on anybody's team. They have a very different role to play. As a Supreme Court justice, Ms. Kagan's job description would change dramatically. Far from being a member of the President's team, she'd suddenly be serving as a check on it. She's never had to develop the judicial habit of saying no to an administration. And we can't simply assume that she would.
So you can't just go from doing one job to doing another. You can't just switch which branch of government you work for. Which is why Mitch McConnell was so opposed to the Harriet Miers nomination in 2005. I mean, she wasn't just Solicitor General representing the whole administration like Kagan is, the whole government like Kagan is. Harriet Miers was President Bush's White House counsel representing the White House. And before that, she was President Bush's personal lawyer for years. The lawyer for his gubernatorial campaign, the lawyer for his presidential campaign, a longtime close personal friend of the president. So Mitch McConnell was, for obvious reasons, opposed to her nomination too, right?
Mr. President, today I rise to commend President Bush for his choice of Harriet Miers to be the nation's next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Ms. Miers has an exemplary record of service to our country. She'll bring to the court a lifetime of experience in various levels of government and at the highest levels of the legal profession. She'll make a fine addition to the Supreme Court, and I look forward to her confirmation.
Left, right, and center, nobody expects that there won't be objections raised or things to be debated when it comes to Elena Kagan's nomination to the Supreme Court. But if you're going to raise what you are pretending are principled objections to her, you might want to Google yourself first to remind yourself what you used to say your principles were. And this has been another episode of Helpful Hints for Hypocrites.